Meghan Markle is preparing for her first Kardashian-style reality TV show despite Hollywood brutally turning on her.
Here she is as they open up her hotel room in CSI New York. Harry must love that one.
There's a time in everyone's life when the world feels like it stops moving, as if watching to see what you'll do next. And sometimes that time comes when you really don't expect it. Hollywood bosses saying, heck no. Think about walking onto a movie set, not as a princess, not as a news story, but just as a woman going back to a job she used to love, a job that once felt like home.
She's accepted now that she needs the money and that her career is absolutely in the toilet.
Now, think about that home suddenly changing under your feet. Because that's really what happened when Meghan Markle made her quiet, carefully thought out return to acting. A return that lasted less than 30 seconds on camera, yet somehow exploded into the kind of mess no one could have written.
Scripted.
I'm so confused. The truth is that Meghan is a serial failure. Everything she touches turns to mud, which is why she has gone back to acting.
There was no royal celebration, no big dramatic introduction, just a simple appearance in a warm, nice movie full of amazing actors. A small act of creativity, a hello to an old chapter.
She is going to be playing herself.
But who is Meghan Markle? Because we don't know who the real Meghan Markle is. Prince Harry doesn't know who the real Meghan Markle is.
Meghan Markle was just one of the working girls for Soho House. Call girl, working girl, escort, whatever you want to call it. That's what she was.
I think this is the perfect role for Meghan Markle.
A moment that should have been harmless, but the reaction, it was anything but simple. Whispers turned into talking. Talking turned into headlines. And what should have been a light, fun appearance became erased, removed from the final version after test watchers reacted with a level of strength that shocked even industry insiders. Because sometimes the story isn't about the part you film, it's about the one people decide you're not allowed to have. And this removal, this tiny 30-second appearance wiped from existence, started a much bigger question. What does Hollywood really think of Meghan Markle? Now stay with me, because the answer is far more interesting than the scene itself.
It's a screenplay built around two couples, one famous and one not. And it's my understanding that Meghan is playing a version of herself.
Walking onto a movie set carries a very special energy, an unspoken rhythm of working together, curiosity, and quiet waiting. But on the day Meghan came for her appearance, that rhythm changed in subtle, clear ways. Not in a big or angry sense, but in the kind of careful stillness that spreads when people aren't totally sure what to expect. The cast was kind, of course. Professionals always are. Smiles were shared, introductions made, and everyone moved with the practiced ease of actors who've done this dance 1,000 times before. Yet, there was also a visible space, a sense of watching rather than welcoming, as if the room altogether took an extra beat to adjust.
This director, Jason Orley, will be living under a desk for the rest of his life. He'll just have to hear Meghan's voice going, "My husband!" and he'll just completely freak out.
Meghan reportedly came to the moment with care, offering ideas, explaining reasons, exploring why her short appearance mattered to the story. For many actors, that type of involvement is normal. But here, because she was basically playing herself, it surprised people. A few crew members talked quietly. A few cast members kept their eyes down, and everyone seemed determined to stay in their own lane, careful not to step into anything that might become tricky. It wasn't tension. It wasn't meanness. It was holding back. A room full of talented people working with politeness instead of excitement. And when filming ended, something felt unfinished, like a conversation left unsaid. Because although the appearance was tiny, the silence that followed was massive. No posts, no shout-outs, not even a casual great working together. That quiet would speak louder than anything said on set.
Is she gonna be playing an entitled, spoiled ex-duchess who shanked her in-laws and ran away from the royal family? That would be true. That would be a really true and accurate portrayal of Meghan Markle.
Test showings are usually quiet events, small rooms, dim lights, and watchers who write notes with the casual distance of people trying something that isn't quite finished yet. But during the early showings of close personal friends, something unexpected happened the moment Meghan's appearance showed up. Not anger, not clapping, something far more worrying for any studio: immediate disconnection. According to people familiar with the feedback, The air changed the second she stepped into frame. Viewers weren't confused about the story, nor did they question the scene's placement. They questioned her being there. The cards collected afterward capture the feeling with honest bluntness. Why is she here? Feels distracting, breaks the mood. Comments that might seem small yet carry huge weight in a room where every reaction is measured, recorded, and studied. Executives watch the information come in with growing worry. Small drops in attention numbers, changes in emotional tone tracking, sudden falls in engagement, all tied to that single moment. It wasn't personal, it was mathematical. The numbers simply didn't support keeping the appearance.
Cameo.
Why not make money showing the downfall of your relationship, your marriage? You are now not very much together. It's great to show Harry and how he is so not happy at the moment.
In the industry, studios rarely panic. They adjust. They redo things. But this time, the adjustment was quick. Before the next showing cycle even started, the decision was already forming among key decision makers. The appearance wasn't making the story better. It was covering it up. And in Hollywood, anything that messes up momentum becomes a problem. The surprising part, the real storm didn't happen during the showing. It happened the moment the studio responded. When a studio cuts a part, it's usually because the pacing feels wrong or the joke doesn't work. But removing Meghan's appearance, that wasn't an edit. That was a surgical removal. Quick, quiet, and done with the kind of sharpness usually saved for fixing major plot holes, not 30-second walk-ons. According to industry talk, the executives didn't even bother planning a long meeting about it. The feedback numbers came in, the eyebrows went up, and someone supposedly said something along the lines of, "Yeah, we're not keeping that." It was less arguing and more gut feeling. Like watching a Jenga tower shake and deciding right away which block has to go. And here's where the criticism writes itself. The studio reportedly realized it was safer to upset Meghan's PR team than risk annoying the general audience.
The only reason why Netflix has stayed in the game with Harry and Meghan is because they are anticipating that the couple will divorce and Netflix want to be close to Meghan so they can have the exclusive and they can have Meghan My Story, which will be a 10-part awful documentary about her and her terrible life being married to Harry.
Imagine being thought of as more dangerous than a bad preview, a weak subplot, or a questionable computer-generated effect. That's not an appearance problem. That's a brand impact crisis. But the real punchline, executives seem to understand exactly what would happen if they left the part in. Think headlines, think commentary, think internet mess that could swallow an entire marketing campaign whole. They'd seen that movie before, and they weren't signing up for a sequel. So the appearance disappeared, clean-cut. No hesitation, no ceremony, just gone, like it had never existed. And yet somehow the removal made more noise than the appearance ever could. But the loudest reaction wasn't from the studio. It was from Hollywood itself in the form of complete silence.
See, there I am. It's all about me and my joy because I swear I'm authentic. I'm a Californian. I love the Dodgers just like normal people, even though I'm firing or at least losing my 10th publicist right now, literally days earlier in the news because I bully everyone.
If there's one thing Hollywood loves, it's pretending everyone is best friends. A 5-second appearance, you will get a behind-the-scenes photo, a walk-by shot in the background. Expect the whole cast to post heart emojis. Someone's dog sneezes on set. Congratulations. There's a story in Variety. But after Meghan filmed her appearance, nothing. Not a whisper, not a blurry Instagram story from a crew member. Not even a pity like. Industry watchers noticed the blackout right away. It wasn't subtle. It was freezing cold, and in a town where actors will tag each other for breathing in the same hallway, the silence around Meghan stood out more loudly than any scandal. It looked less like people forgot, and more like everyone suddenly discovered their phones were charging.
Let's go through some of the best of Meghan Markle's non-suits acting.
Hi.
How'd you feel about it?
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Even the Suits cast, who normally gush over each other like a group chat with unlimited data, stayed strangely quiet. The one exception was Wendell Pierce, who offered a polite, supportive comment in an interview. And while it was kind, it also pointed out the fact that no one else spoke up. One voice shouldn't feel like a spotlight unless the room behind it is pitch black. The critical part, Hollywood is a place where people will congratulate a toaster if it helps their engagement. So when they all together decide to go silent, it usually means one thing. They don't want the trouble. And the silence didn't just speak volumes, it echoed. Because if the appearance was tiny, the distance from the industry was massive.
She never misses an opportunity to make it about herself.
Let's be honest. Meghan's return to acting didn't appear out of thin air. It had the energy of someone looking through a list titled Career Options I Haven't Tried This Year, circling one and saying, "Sure, let's give that another try." And Hollywood noticed, not because she came back, but because the timing screamed less creative rebirth and more planned emergency move. Remember when she told Variety she was done with acting? That chapter had supposedly closed. Yet suddenly, here she was stepping back into the spotlight like it owed her rent. Industry insiders started raising eyebrows, not out of judgment, but because the pattern was becoming hard to ignore. Brand deals fizzled, projects stopped, podcasts disappeared faster than free champagne at an award show, and the lifestyle businesses, let's just say they performed like a Wi-Fi signal in a basement. So, when this appearance surfaced, people asked the obvious question, why now? Some experts pointed to money pressure. Others whispered about shrinking importance. And a few noted a curious trend.
Because she's got such a big ego, she probably thinks she can be James Bond. Didn't you know I'm not Meghan Markle anymore? I'm James Bond.
Wow.
I'm actually Jane Bond, James's braver sister.
Woof.
The movie that she's going to be appearing in, Close Personal Friends, which I guarantee is an immediate 1-star flop.
Major Sussex headlines dropping with strange timing during royal milestones, almost like an unspoken competition for oxygen. Nothing confirmed, of course, but Hollywood is a place built on patterns. And this one raised alarms like a car with its door left open. And then there's Harry, pulled along like the +1 to every plot twist. He looked like a man wanting quiet while standing next to someone chasing the next spotlight. The comeback wasn't random. It was a signal, just not the one she hoped Hollywood would hear. Prince Harry didn't sign up for this kind of Hollywood plot twist. The man traded palaces for peace, tabloids for therapy, and royal formality for California air. But instead of the quiet reinvention he probably imagined, he's found himself stuck in a never-ending PR roller coaster with no seatbelt and no emergency brake. And the appearance mess, yeah, that didn't help. People close to the situation whispered that Harry looked increasingly tired, like someone who keeps hearing, just one more big opportunity coming, only for the opportunity to arrive, wearing clown shoes. Every new business promises stability, visibility, and a fresh start, yet somehow ends up creating another round of commentary he probably never wanted.
Well, Meghan, he didn't know that was going to be released worldwide. He thought he was in his
That's true.
He thought he was in his own home, just with his kooky wife and her friend, and he didn't have any reason to behave. He must be so pissed right now. Wait, you released that? I had a chance to get up and hug you and go, wow, yeah. But I didn't know we're going to use our home security footage as TikTok.
Meanwhile, Meghan's energy toward the next big move seems to work on a different frequency entirely. She pushes forward. He braces himself. She wants momentum. He wants a nap. It's like watching two people running the same race but on completely different tracks. And every time a project fizzles or a headline erupts, the gap between their goals gets harder to ignore. Hollywood insiders have noticed it, too. One boss reportedly said Harry looked like a man who keeps getting pulled into rooms he didn't walk into voluntarily. It wasn't criticism, it was observation. The guy seems tired by the circus while still trying to stand by his partner, even when the spotlight burns hotter than expected.
He looked like a hostage there. You really kind of wanted to have King Charles send in the equivalent of the Navy SEALs into Montecito to go rescue the prince.
The appearance removal didn't just affect Meghan's brand. It shook the entire Sussex system. And the next blow, that one came straight from Hollywood's quiet verdict. Hollywood may look fancy, but behind the curtain sits a spreadsheet more feared than bad box office numbers. The risk list. It's not official, not public, and definitely not something studios brag about. Yet, every major player knows it exists. It's the silent scoreboard where bosses track which names can boost a project and which ones might set the marketing budget on fire. And guess whose name reportedly started moving a little too close to the proceed with caution column? Yep, Meghan's. It wasn't the appearance itself that did it. Hollywood doesn't blacklist people for a walk-on role. What shook bosses was the pattern, the rapid-fire headlines, the split reactions, the fan wars, the unpredictable press cycles. Studios care about one thing above all, reducing chaos. And chaos for them isn't drama, it's cost. PR cost, reputation cost, brand cost. Imagine being a studio head and thinking, do we want our rom-com trending for romance or for royal commentary again? That's the part that burned Meghan's chances. Not the acting, not the appearance, the unpredictability.
Directed by Jason Orley, who is going to need therapy after working with Meghan Markle. So he's a brave man. And by the way, that's his career over, directing Meghan Markle, just like she's destroyed the career of the 80 people that work on With Love Meghan, the Netflix show that was watched by very few people.
Directors whispered. Producers planned. Agents pretended to check their email whenever her name came up in a meeting. No one wanted to be the person who said, let's take the risk, and watch the internet explode for reasons completely unrelated to the actual film. It wasn't personal. Hollywood rarely is. It was practical. Because in an industry obsessed with control, the one thing they fear most is someone who brings a storyline they can't manage. And Meghan, whether she meant to or not, became exactly that. So, what does all of this really mean? When a single harmless appearance spirals into industry hesitation, deleted scenes, and a wave of careful distancing, it's clear the message wasn't subtle. Hollywood didn't just close a door, it double-locked it, slid the chain across, and pretended no one was home. And whether Meghan intended it or not, this moment showed something far bigger than a cut scene. It revealed how studios truly view the chaos that follows her brand. Not because of who she is, but because of the unpredictable storm that seems to arrive every time her name hits a press release. But if you think the story was wild, just wait, because the previous video on my channel dives into an even sharper twist in this royal Hollywood maze, the one where Prince Harry reportedly reeled after Sarah Ferguson surfaced old, unverified claims about Meghan's early social circles and her rumored yet dazed connections involving Andrew. That breakdown peeled back layers of history, guessing, and insider chatter that most people never hear. And trust me, if you missed it, you're missing half the plot. So before you go anywhere, make sure to check it out next. It connects to everything happening now. This is Star Spotlight, where truth meets turbulence and every story gets a second glare. Stay curious, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video.